There exists a rare group of people who carry invisible marks. They don't need to prove anything or seek recognition. Their presence speaks, the environment responds, and without realizing it, they touch the invisible while living in the visible. They are called the chosen, and what sets them apart is not appearance or status, but hidden abilities that operate silently, guided by a greater purpose. These abilities don't appear in spectacular ways. They manifest in daily life, in the intuition that anticipates situations, in the silent resilience under pressure, in the ability to perceive what no one says. They were not acquired. They were entrusted. And these are the abilities that allow the chosen to impact the world without needing to impose themselves. Many spend years ignoring these marks. Others feel them but don't understand. The fact is, if you've made it this far, it's because you're ready to understand what lives within you. This video will reveal the 9 hidden abilities that only some of the chosen have. Not to exalt you, but to align you with your mission. Prepare yourself to recognize within you what the world tried to silence. Because these abilities are not just gifts. They are tools of transformation, and those who learn to use them no longer walk in darkness. I'm George, and this channel is for those who are ready to stop living on autopilot. Follow now, turn on notifications, and share this message with someone who also needs to awaken. Let's get straight to what matters. Ability. Sharp spiritual discernment. To discern what the eyes cannot see is a rare gift. The chosen one has the ability to perceive what lies beyond the surface. They are not easily deceived by pretty words or appearances. There is something within them, like a radar, that warns them when something isn't right. And this discernment doesn't come from the intellect, but from the spirit. This ability protects, guides, and often unsettles them. Because where many see normality, the chosen perceives manipulation, lies, hidden intentions. They can feel when an environment is spiritually heavy, when a person carries dark energy, when something is out of place. And even if they can't explain it in words, they know it in their heart. This discernment also reveals paths. It shows where it is safe to step, and where it's better to walk away. While others make decisions based on logic, the chosen one is guided by that inner sense. Many times they say, "I don't know why, but this isn't the way." And later, they find out they were spared from something. However, carrying this ability is not easy. Sometimes the chosen one wishes they didn't perceive so much. Wishes they could blindly believe, trust without fear, walk into places without feeling the spiritual weight that's there. But they cannot, because they've been activated to see what others ignore. And that requires responsibility, because not everything that is discerned should be spoken. Not everything should be confronted. There are moments to act and moments to pray, moments to warn and moments to stay silent. Discernment is a tool, and like every powerful tool, it must be used with wisdom. This ability is a direct line to heaven. It's a compass in times of confusion, and when the chosen learns to trust it, their life flows with more purpose, more protection, more clarity. They may be misunderstood, but they will never be deceived for long, because truth always reveals itself to the eyes of the spirit. Ability. Supernatural emotional resilience. Few can imagine the weight that the chosen one carries. On the outside, they may appear calm, steady, even serene. But inside, they've fought battles that would destroy many. The chosen one has an emotional resilience that isn't trained. It's forged. It's born in deserts, grows in rejection, and matures in solitude. This resilience keeps them standing when everything collapses. It's not that they don't feel pain. They do. And sometimes they even feel it more deeply than others. But they don't surrender to it. Pain doesn't paralyze them. It shapes them. And that's what sets them apart. They turn their wounds into strength, their losses into wisdom, their failures into fuel. Most people break when they lose support. The chosen one grows when they are alone, because in those moments they turn to God, inward, and discover resources that don't come from the mind but from the spirit. They find peace where there is only chaos. They find direction when everything seems dark. This makes them a refuge for others. Many lean on them without even realizing it. They seek their advice, their steadiness, their ability to remain whole. But not everyone understands what they've gone through to get there. That resilience didn't come from nowhere. It was built in silence, tear by tear. And even so, the chosen continues to serve, to comfort, to strengthen others, even when they themselves need strength. That isn't weakness. It's a clear sign that they carry something not of this world, something from above, something that sustains them even when everything seems to end. This ability isn't glamorous. It's silent, yet powerful. And the more the chosen cultivates it, the more unshakable they become. They may fall, but they don't stay down. They may get hurt, but they don't stop. They may get tired, but they never give up, because there's something greater within them, something that pushes them to keep going, even when everything screams to stop. Ability, intuition, that precedes the invisible. Intuition isn't just a good or bad feeling. For the chosen, it's much more. It's a system of spiritual guidance, a direct channel to the divine. It's as if the universe, God, or the Holy Spirit breathes truth into them before it manifests. The chosen feel what's coming, they sense things. And the most curious part is they're usually right even when everyone else says otherwise. Their intuition warns them about people, decisions, directions, and when they trust that inner voice, things flow. But when they ignore it, mistakes multiply. This ability is refined over time. The more they listen, the stronger it becomes. The more they obey, the clearer it gets. Intuition is like the language of the spirit. It doesn't come with logical explanations, but with a certainty that invades the soul, a conviction that cannot be shaken. It also connects them with others' pain. The chosen feel what people don't say. They read silences. They notice when someone is hurting, even with a smile on their face. And often, their presence alone heals, because intuition leads to compassion, and compassion is a rare gift. This ability isn't about predicting the future. It's about being tuned to divine timing, perceiving signs before others do. That way, they avoid mistakes, anticipate decisions, and position themselves with wisdom. The chosen, guided by intuition, never walk in darkness for long, because the light is already shining within them. Ability, presence that transforms environments. The chosen carry an atmosphere. They can walk into a room without saying a word, and yet something changes. The air shifts. The silence gains weight. Some people feel peace, others feel uneasy. This doesn't happen because they try. It happens because their presence carries something spiritual. It's not charisma. It's not appearance. It's authority. Authority built in secret, in moments when no one was watching. In days when they prayed alone, cried alone, endured what seemed unbearable. Their presence carries all of that. And those who are sensitive can feel it. This ability cannot be learned. It doesn't come from courses or training. It's the fruit of alignment with the divine, of a surrendered life. That's why the chosen transform environments. Tense places become lighter. Confusing meetings gain direction. Weary people leave different after being near them. But not everyone reacts well. Some feel uncomfortable. They can't explain why, but they feel the weight. That happens because the light of the chosen exposes what was hidden. They don't need to confront anyone with words. The truth they carry already does that, and many aren't ready for it. That's why they're often isolated, misunderstood, avoided. But that separation is protection. God separates those who carry atmospheres so that their gift stays untainted, so their presence remains pure. The chosen are called to transform, not to conform. And that's one of their greatest battles, to remain whole in a world that tries to dilute them. With time, they understand that it's not about the quantity of words, but the quality of presence, that they don't need to explain themselves to be understood. They just need to be. Their presence speaks, and their life is proof that heaven touches earth through ordinary people with extraordinary gifts. Ability, deep and intentional listening. In a world where everyone wants to speak, the chosen have the rare ability to listen, not just with their ears, but with their spirit. They listen beyond words. They feel what lies behind silences, pauses, and disguised smiles. The chosen are those who can hear what no one is saying. This deep listening is a tool for healing. Often, someone feels relieved just by being truly heard, without judgment, without hurry, without formulas. The chosen create a safe space through their listening. They are not there to give ready-made answers. They are there to be truly present. And that's rarer than it seems, because listening requires surrender, silencing your own voice, your own ego. It requires being available to another person without wanting anything in return. And the chosen do so because they understand their mission is to serve, not to control. This ability also connects them with God. Listening to heaven requires inner silence, spiritual sensitivity. And the chosen develop that over time. They hear divine instructions in the midst of chaos, hear God's whisper while the world screams. That's what keeps them steady, even when everything around falls apart. The chosen's listening is intentional. They don't listen to reply. They listen to understand. And often, that listening is already the answer, already the healing. People open up to them without knowing why, and leave feeling lighter, more understood, more aligned. This gift cannot be seen with natural eyes, but it's deeply recognized by wounded souls. And that's why the chosen attracts so many broken hearts, because their listening carries acceptance, carries love without judgment, carries presence. And that today is a miracle. Ability, the capacity to endure painful processes without losing faith. There is a special kind of strength that only reveals itself in the valleys. When everything collapses, when the applause fades, when friends walk away. It is in that place that the chosen display their most silent and most powerful ability, the capacity to endure without becoming corrupted. This strength is not about enduring everything quietly while pretending to be fine. It's about continuing even when broken, about praying even when there's no answer, about serving even without reward. It is a faith that doesn't depend on signs, a surrender that remains even without explanations. The chosen know that the process is part of the refining. They don't romanticize pain, but they respect it. They know that God works in secret, in the unseen, in the invisible. And while many run from process, they face it. Not because they like it, but because they know it's necessary. This ability sets them apart. Because where many quit, they keep going. Where many question, they trust. Where many rebel, they stay silent. And that silence is full of hope. Because the chosen have already understood that their journey isn't about comfort. It's about purpose. This ability also makes them resilient to criticism, delays, and closed doors. Because they know that everything is being used by God to shape, prepare, and align them. And even when tired, they press on. Because their strength doesn't come from themselves, but from the source that sustains them. It's not easy, and they know that. But still, they remain, and every process they endure makes them stronger, more mature, more sensitive to what truly matters. That is the strength of the chosen, to endure without losing themselves, and to grow in the midst of pain. Ability, vision. Beyond the immediate. The chosen have the ability to see beyond what is visible. They are not impressed by the present moment because their eyes are adjusted to the eternal, while many are attached to what is immediate: results, appearance, validation. The chosen look beyond, to what is invisible, intangible. This vision is not natural, it is spiritual. It is as if heaven had given them a different set of lenses that reveal what ordinary eyes cannot perceive. They don't just see what is happening, they see why it's happening. And that changes everything. This ability helps them discern intentions, perceive spiritual connections, and identify repeating cycles. They sense when something is out of order in the atmosphere. They understand when it's time to stay or to leave. They notice when something doesn't add up, even if everything looks fine on the outside. It's a visual intuition, a radar. But that vision also comes at a price. To see too much can hurt, because they see hidden wounds, masks, deceptions, even in those close to them. And often they must remain silent, because speaking too soon can push people away. So the chosen learn to guard, to pray, to wait for the right time to act. In time, that vision also helps them make decisions aligned with purpose. They don't choose for immediate shine. They choose for lasting value. They don't get involved in everything. They don't accept just any offer, because they can see where it leads. That makes them seem slow, even indecisive. But in truth, they are deep. The chosen see through God's eyes, and that makes them dangerous to darkness. Because where there is hidden shadow, they shine light. Not with arrogance, but with clarity. Their vision isn't judgment, it's direction. It's like a torch that guides the lost. Ability, communication with purpose. The voice of the chosen carries weight. They can say something simple, and it echoes in the heart of the listener for days. That happens because their words are filled with truth. They don't speak just to speak. They speak to touch, to transform, to awaken. Their communication has purpose, and it's not about eloquence. Many chosen are simple, even shy. But when they speak, something moves, because their words come from a deep place, from lived experiences, from pain overcome, from encounters with God. And that gives spiritual authority to their words. They speak little, but with intention. They choose their moments carefully. They know when to be silent, when to confront, when to encourage. That makes them a reference, even unintentionally. People seek them out for counsel, direction, comfort, because they sense something different. This ability also connects them to different kinds of people. They know how to translate the spiritual into the practical. They bridge different realities. They speak with wisdom where there is confusion, with gentleness where there is hardness, with compassion where there is pain. And that builds bridges. The words of the chosen are also used to break things open. There are moments when they speak words that end cycles, close seasons, free people from emotional prisons. Not because they planned to, but because they were used, because their mouth is surrendered. That's why they guard what they say. They know their voice carries influence, and influence means responsibility. That's why the chosen go through seasons of silence. God teaches them not to use their voice as a weapon, but as an instrument. Their communication heals, guides, opens paths, all because it was consecrated. Ability. Attracting those no one else wants to reach. Of all the abilities a chosen one can carry, this may be the most discreet and yet the most profound. They attract those whom the world has cast aside. The rejected, the broken, the lonely, the disbelieved. Those whom almost no one notices, but who, upon crossing paths with the chosen one, feel something different. Not because the chosen tries, but because they carry a frequency that only the weary can recognize. This ability doesn't come from charisma or pretty words. It comes from the Spirit. It's as if the pain the chosen has endured has turned their presence into a refuge. Their story became a bridge. Their silence became listening. Their empathy became healing. They don't need to speak to be understood. Their very presence brings rest to burdened hearts. People who no longer know whom to trust end up opening up to them without realizing it. Because they feel safety. They feel truth. They feel welcome. And the chosen understand this. Sometimes they even wonder why it's always them who attract these heavy stories. But deep down, they know they were set apart for this very reason. To be where no one else wants to be, listening to those no one else wants to hear. Of course, it's exhausting, carrying others' pain uninvited, hearing stories that tear at the soul, feeling the weight of a world that stays silent before others' suffering. But the chosen don't give up. Even when wounded, they remain. Even when they don't know how to fix it, they reach out. Because they know that for many, their presence alone is more than enough. This ability takes them to unexpected places. Sometimes God positions them right where the darkness is. And there, they don't shout. They simply live. Because their life speaks. Their gaze speaks. Their way of loving speaks. And where everyone else gives up, they stay. Where everyone judges, they understand. The chosen are the answer for the invisible. They were sent for this. The chosen were not sent to earth by chance. Each one carries a specific role in the divine plan. And these hidden abilities, as mysterious or challenging as they may be, are fundamental tools in this journey. They are not spiritual ornaments, they are activation codes. They are marks of heaven, given to be used, not ignored. These abilities are important because they sustain the mission. Without them, the chosen lose their way. They become just another face in the crowd. They would live frustrated, misplaced, with the constant feeling that something is missing. Because in truth, it would be. Each of these gifts was granted for a purpose, and when activated, it aligns the chosen with their reason for existing. It's not about being special. It's about being functional in the kingdom. Intuition, for example, saves the chosen from traps. It guides them when logic fails. Spiritual discernment protects them from deception, harmful relationships, and toxic environments. Deep empathy connects them with the broken. They don't judge, they feel. That makes them a bridge, a living form of healing. And that matters because there are too many wounded and too few willing to see them. Vision beyond the immediate prevents impulsive decisions. It gives patience. It gives strategy. While the world rushes, the chosen waits, because they see what lies beyond. Communication with purpose, on the other hand, turns simple words into eternal seeds. A single sentence from a chosen one can change a destiny. And that is powerful. The sense of divine timing is also vital. Because not every yes is from God, and not every now is the right time. Knowing how to wait for the right moment is heavenly wisdom. Knowing how to act when heaven releases is obedience. Both protect the purpose. Attracting the forgotten is not a burden. It's an honor. The chosen are an answer, and that answer must reach where no one else wants to go. Lost people don't need a show. They need presence, and the chosen have that. The ability to be, truthfully. The 9 abilities we revealed are not just rare gifts. They are spiritual keys. Keys that, when recognized and activated, have the power to change destinies, open locked paths, and heal invisible wounds. they are not random. They were not placed in you by accident. They were entrusted by God to those who have been through the fire, through silence, and through surrender. They are given only to those who have been refined by pain, hidden from the noise, and prepared far from the spotlight. These abilities matter because the world, now more than ever, cries out for direction, but despises depth. There are many who speak, but few who have something real to say. There is an abundance of information, but a scarcity of wisdom. And that is why the chosen are so necessary. Because they carry what cannot be taught in books or copied in videos. They carry an essence that comes from above, a mission that goes beyond the ego, and a strength that remains even in the midst of the storm. Do you feel it? Do you feel that there is something different inside you? Something the world doesn't understand but that remains alive? Which of these 9 abilities already beats strongly within you? Which one have you been suppressing out of fear or doubt? And which one is calling now to be awakened? Comment below which of the 9 abilities you identify with the most. Share how it has manifested in your journey. It can be something subtle, a feeling, a pattern, a recurring situation. Don't keep it to yourself. Your sharing may awaken other chosen ones who are still asleep. This space is sacred. It is for true chosen ones to recognize, strengthen, and support one another. Your journey may be the answer someone else needs.